Hi YouTube, how are you doing? I'm doing great. There might be some noise. Doug's working outside. He doesn't know I'm doing a video. So if he comes in, we'll work through it if and when that happens because it's cold out. He's finishing up entryway off the porch well, he's covering where we go into the woodshed. Everything will be enclosed, so if you hear some noise, that's what it will be. I'm do you ever think about infinite math or quantum physics? Oddly enough, or not so odd, I do. I look at the big picture of everything. Granted, I may not be recognized for the greatest mind in the world, which is cool with me. If I put something out there in the ether, other people can gather stuff. I guess that's maybe what I do. Um, or actually, that is what I do. So, um, yeah, I'm a problem solver. I'm not the problem. Unlike a lot of people that want to try and manipulate and control me, I have a question for you. Are you a problem or a problem solver? And is there any evidence of any problem that you have actually solved and found a solution for? Or like say like an antidote to something? Because I found an antidote for the Morgellons bug. I've written in the medical journals. So, yeah, I'm there too. I'm all over the place in a lot of ways. So, just for somebody that thought it was sort of funny, I surprised a doctor yesterday. I have a feeling that it's not the only surprise that will be received as a happy thing because I help other people. I don't hurt them, and it's all out of love, every bit of it. And I'm steered in the right direction. I'm just wondering what everybody else is doing to actually solve any problems that people in general have, the health of our society. You know, do you have any ideas? Do you try to think of any ideas? You know, just wondering, you know. Mm, I'm a little chilly right now. I'll be warming up, but anyway, I just got my hands wet and it made me kind of cold. Cold water, it was stupid. Did you ever do that? Just wash your hands with cold water? I did. I just rinsed them from being dusty, but anyway. I know. I'm a little all over the place right now with my thoughts. Um, I shared some pretty good music. Doug had one that he was humming and singing this morning. The mamas and the papas go where you want to go. Um, yeah, it says a lot. It says a lot about the frame of the mind of like him being 8 years older than me. So when something came out in 1968 and like if I was 10 and he was 18, that's a weird difference um, in age when you're kids. But when you get a little older, 8 years isn't a great amount of time, you know. But it would have looked a little odd way back when, huh? Yeah, it's odd anyway. But there is a science to what both Doug and I do, so that's, alchemy, and the understanding of how the material world works. So anyway, um, I was thinking about, geez, I'll tell you a story. Had a little second cousin. His mom and dad were bikers, and one time, well, it was a long time ago, when he was a baby, he had stayed with our family. I even saved his life from choking one time. He was sitting on his mom's lap, and my adopted mom, these women just sat there as this little dude's choking. Luckily, I had already started my Red Cross courses, um, and as a kid, I was able to tip him upside down and dislodge that, you know. I saved my friend's little kid, too. I saved a few people in the water, and I dunked Doug in the water, scared the living bejesus out of him, and I did it on purpose too. But that's another story. Um, there's times, yeah, we tried to annihilate each other, and we couldn't do it. Then we kind of started figuring out what was going on. Well, I mean, we knew anyway, but yeah, I didn't start the annihilation, but yeah, if it started with me, I'm going to finish it. So anyway, I'm gifted like that. So anyway, my little cousin used to. Now I don't know if this is from physical abuse or if it was because his mom and his dad weren't in his life at the time. I am not sure. But it was my job to sort of like look over him. And so anyway, I like when he was 4, I bought him some skis and I taught him how to ski. First thing he did was like a snow plow and fell on his face, and I picked him up and he was crying and I dusted him off and I'm like, "You're okay. Just try it again." I talked to him about, some years back here, he still hates skiing. It's just not his thing. But this little kid, when he was tiny, used to get up on his hands and knees and smack his head into the wall. He'd rock back and forth like this and bump his head into the wall. It's like when he was sleeping. So it was my job, or if he was crying because he did have a lot of emotional things going on with him, it was my job to calm him down. But I was a kid, what do I know? So instead of a bedtime story, I'd tell him ghost stories and nightmares and yeah, but I was into that type of thing. They put this kid in my care when I was still a kid. What do you expect? So he'd be trying to go to sleep, and I'd go, his name was Brian, and I'd go around the corner to his room, and I'd go, Brian, you know, and he'd kind of cry, and then I'd go back in there, and I go, you don't have to cry, it's just me. Then he'd start laughing. So weird. We had a weird household. What can I say? We were raised in hell. So I'm not making any excuses. I just had a memory of, I wonder if this kid was sleep paralysis when he was smacking his head like that. Because I really did save him, from that. I even, well, I got mad at him one time and I said, quit bumping your head. And he started crying. I hugged him and I said, if you bump your head again, I'm going to smack you, or something like that. I can't remember exactly what I had said to the kid, but I put fear into him where he was actually physically aware of when he got on his hands and knees and was going to do that again, and he stopped himself from doing that. That's where I started understanding what cold therapy is. Yeah, I'm into psychology and psychiatry in a big way. I was already reading psychoanalysis books when I was a little kid, when I could finally put those words together beyond my dyslexia, because some of you know I had books handed to me upside down, and I'd write them, and that would turn them, flip them around, and try and hand it back to me again. And this is the type of battles that I overcame, physical battles with people to stop me from learning, but it didn't work. So, but I just had that memory. I was watching Archaics this morning, had Martin Leakey, Flat Earth, Brit, British or whatever, um, on there, and he was talking about sleep paralysis that he had, and he actually ended up as a kid in a wheelchair for about a year, because like he'd wake up, he couldn't walk, he couldn't move. But this was different with this kid, so I don't know if it stemmed from physical abuse, why he was on his hands and knees bumping his head, if maybe one of my cousin's biker boyfriends or somebody did something to that little guy. I don't know, but he did stop doing that. Yeah, he stopped crying in the night too. Um, you know, I used to take him on my paper route with me and put him in my wagon and pull him around and you know keep him busy, try and keep his mind off of all the bad stuff in the world that was going on. So yeah, anyway, but I don't think he watches me. He got mad at me when I was talking about um, philandering men. He didn't like that. So anyway, you know, I'm not big on cheaters, and actually he was going to come and help me do some fencing for my horse, and wasn't sounding too much like a cousin. So, and he's not my blood cousin, but that's still not the issue. You know, he is a married dude, and he just, I don't know, it was all weird, very weird, and I haven't talked to him for quite some time, and he hasn't called me, I haven't called him, and that's the way it stands. It's been a while. So, cheers, everybody. Just like all the bandits, and I call them bandits, around where we live, you wouldn't believe it. The dark cabal affiliated bloodline around my area, um, if you weren't strong, you'd be too scared to even, um, well, you wouldn't be if you didn't know what was going on, but if you did. So I still have a knack of chasing the bandits away. And it's not like they hate me or they want to do anything to me physically. They're afraid of me, which is a good thing. So I chased all the bad people away and kept a mental eye on them so they couldn't function in their bad deeds like they wanted to. You know, I would put things before them and in their paths to totally screw up their lives. That's what you call throwing a wrench in the gears, you know. So my question again to people is, Are you a problem solver? Or are you a part of the problem? Or are you the problem? You know? Because if you're a problem, you're going to end up in a cage and you'll never be free. You know? People think they have me caged, but once you get me in a cage, you certainly don't want to crawl in there with me. That's the biggest mistake. And that's what people found out. Be careful when you think you have me caged. It's always a stronger fight for people than what they know, you know? Anyway, yeah, I don't know what else is really on my mind today. I really am just wasting a little time. Well, actually, taking the time. I didn't have the time to waste. I'm kind of busy, but I took a little bit of time here because I know that the few people that do listen to me are um, wondering what I'm thinking or going to say today, or that ethereal communication thing too. So like Doug said, I'm watching my channels. I'm channeling. Well, yeah, especially if it's a live stream. I love live streams because then people can hear me thinking and I can think at them and I can see their reactions live. Wow, that's amazing. You know, the technology that God made, our communication skills that people don't use, you know. Doug, he'll grab his head. He's like, stop thinking so loud. You're making my head hurt. Well, stop being stupid and I won't be thinking at you then, you know. I don't mean that you're stupid, you know. I'm just talking about like if it were that type of situation because I don't hide. And that's why I have such openness about me for other people is I want to be transparent. I am not hiding anything. So if you think that you're going to slander or dirty me in any way or teach me something I don't know, I mean, I'm not saying I know everything in the world. I might say that. I think I actually have said that. But there's things I can learn. Not about emotional um, mechanics inside a human or my own biology or somebody else's or what's uh, a, a virtue or anything. No, you're not going to be, or even how to like meditate or use my willpower or any. No, I'm not learning none of that from nobody. When you master something, you're not looking for an understudy to teach you something. You know, you're looking for your contemporaries, you know, people that are on that same wavelength, you know. And I just am glad that's starting to be realized. So then I played In the Gata da Vida, which was like total acid rock. And that's Iron Butterfly does that. A 17-minute song, one record. It was such a pretty album cover when I got it. It was pretty neat. Same with Cream, Eric Clapton's first band, or maybe second band, was called Cream. They had such a beautiful album cover. It was all like metallic and shiny and really cool. And another one I played this morning was Doug's Song by Black Sabbath, Iron Man. So that song will tell you everything you need to know about the war against good and evil. And that's really all you need to know if you want to know who God actually is and what's going on this planet and why he's angry with everybody because they don't dig deep enough into the available information for other people. People are so self-centered. If you can read one book and you think you're an expert on that book and you think that you can teach the whole world based on one philosophy, um, you're probably missing the whole point, you know. I watched Gnostic Informant, which I was a little bummed to see that he had put out a clip about Jason from Archaics being arrested again. Don't care. He doesn't care that Jason got arrested when he was 17 because the Muse had him stuck in jail instead of going to boot camp and learning how to kill people. He had to spend years of his life studying ancient texts because he didn't have anything else to do. But they don't care about the guy's values in life. And I'll tell you the story real quick. He was 17. His buddy and him went out on a car ride with this girl, also about the same age. His buddy pulled a gun on her and made her drive somewhere in the meantime and threatened her life. In the meantime, Jason had fought with his buddy and ended up uh, taking the girl with her car to the police station, and he got arrested for kidnapping. That's in Texas. And he actually didn't do anything except take that girl to the police station. While he was locked up, he kept getting in trouble and ended up spending on a 2-year sentence 27 years for fighting and different things in there. So it's actually all very sad. And this guy, like me, started out as being an orphan. So that's one tough cookie there. So when people try to annihilate his character, like him just getting busted on false charges, him and his friend, uh, actually, it does kind of put a damper on how I view another person that claims that they are a scholar that would try and slander somebody else like that in the public eye. I didn't even watch it. It's like, this is bullshit, because I know Jason pretty darn good for a long time out here on the internet. So it's like, no, that's so uncool. But anyway, I had watched a Gnostic Informant with, what's his name? Derek from Myth Vision. And they were putting together the Christ-like stories from ancient times before Christianity and trying to show people where Christianity started and where these stories came from and what it is. And they're working on it. And That I can appreciate, but I don't appreciate what was done to Jason. So anyway, I just wanted to make that clear, and I wasn't even going to watch that video or comment on it because it was absolutely unnecessary. And the biggest thing is, Jason published books while he was still in prison. That's commendable. So anyway, but he knows timelines and chronology, in that in the scriptures how it says like a day is like a year. That's because the Hebrew calendar didn't come into existence until around the time of Christ, when they changed the calendar from a shar count, which was a day, into a year. They used to count the calendar as a turning of the stars, from sun up to sundown. That's a shar. And so when they say that these gods or kings or whatever reigned for 40,000 years, no, it was 40,000 days. That makes a whole lot more sense with our human anatomy being fallible to death, you know. So yeah. So he's got a lot of great information. Jason does, that other people can't even come close to touching, and to try and slander him in any way goes against my very grain, because he's putting out information to help solve problems and teach people what the phoenix cycle reset and how that can be proven through mathematics and all that, whereas other people aren't too interested in that, uh, and really aren't solving any problems aside from flapping their gums about something they read. It's not really, yeah, you can prove something, but how's it going to help humanity? I mean, it might, the study of where the text came from and all that is super, super important. But why try and throw shade on somebody's name? I mean, if they deserve the shade, if they're doing stuff to hurt people or something not aligned, why, or if they don't know something, say about some Greek text or something, if they don't know something about that Greek text, why not get them on a open forum of some type and have a discussion about it, instead of making some stupid video about any dirt, a personal issue about somebody, you know? What's that gonna do? I mean, yeah, if if he were actually putting out false information intentionally, like a lot of these scholars do, like biblical scholars, sticking with their Hebrew and not caring about anybody else's culture except for the dark cabal culture of control over every human being, then I could say, yeah, I could see why you would consider this person opposition, but he's not an opponent. That's what I didn't get about the whole thing. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit. I mean, yeah, not all of us are going to agree on everything, but you got to see where we're working together as a team, or we are opposition. And if you know people are directly, like, okay, if you're a rabbi out there trying to school me on religion, or like these people that have gone to seminary school and then find out later when they scholar themselves out of that frame of mind, it's like, dude, that I felt like that when I was a teenager. I'm not the one that went to seminary school. You were. I already knew better when I was a young adult. So, booyah, or boo, something like that. So, anyway. But yeah, I mean, these people that do just teach out of that one reference and are pacified just with the amount of money that they can make using the same playbook of the Dark Cabal. Yeah, we should be screaming at these bastards because they're lying to us. Yeah, I'm a licensed minister. I got my license in case I needed to perform a wedding for my stepdaughter. But also, I knew way too much about what was actually in those texts that I could be an excellent teacher on that without having to pull out anything and just tell you what's up in real terms like a human being. And that's what I decided to do. I used to pull stuff out and show people like this or that, or proving words, and it's no, I've done that already for myself. I exhausted it. I solved it when I was a kid, and then I was all alone in my life with all that knowledge and nobody to talk to about it. Not a pastor, a priest, any type of lay person, anybody, until I met Doug, and then I knew what was going on definitively, you know. So I just wanted to kind of touch a little bit on what I was feeling about other people that will, I mean, yeah, attack your opponents, but don't attack one of the good guys. And then that makes me think, why? Why? A lot of my good friends are ex-cons. In all reality, do I trust them? Sure do. They paid their price. They did their time. I'd rather be friends with a convict that got in trouble when he was 17 and it wasn't really on him. I'd rather be friends with somebody like that than somebody that thinks that they're um, doing the will of God and they're doing more harm to people. I'd rather be friends with an ex-con than I would somebody that would try and hurt that ex-con. There was something else I'd rather be friends with, but just wait. Or I was thinking something else, but well, yeah, I'd rather be friends with an ex-con than a murderer. Are these ignorant scholars murderers? Well, what are you doing to your fellow man? You know, why are you doing that? A dispute about a text isn't a good enough reason to try and slander somebody's character. That's my thoughts. I'd rather be friends with somebody that's done their time than somebody that's going to not know the difference between good character and bad character within people. So, anyway, I'm going to get this uploaded. I just really wanted to touch on that because that was really disappointing to me. I mean, I'll go full bore on somebody's character if they're being dirty or shady, but that's not Jason's character, and I'm not gonna sit by and even watch. If you watch that video slandering him like that, maybe that's your form of entertainment. Maybe that's how you get off, is watching other people go down. I don't know. But that doesn't go over big around me. Nobody will ever get in my good graces by hurting other people. Some people are just in my good graces, and that's where they're going to stay no matter what, no matter who says what about what. And that's me. Once I'm loyal, I'm your friend, I'm there with you. Now, if you do something wrong, I'm there with you. Oh, you know. But so I just want to make that really clear for people. So I love you all. I appreciate you joining me. Peace from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Have a good night or day wherever you're at.